Hope y'all having a good day. Should be a pretty interesting convo. Got a lot of interesting posts to talk about. So I like it when I have some good points to make and some good things to think about when I go into the conversation, because they usually start out pretty interesting that way. What's going on, everybody? I appreciate y'all tuning in. Shout out to all the people at work, not working, paying attention to me. That's got to be a win. All right, so I'm going to talk about my last post. That's how I'm starting to realize that's a good thing to do, because the comments are still popping up and are still fresh in my mind or whatnot. I don't have a specific topic. I'm just going to talk about some recent posts. So probably about 4 or 5 different posts. I'll be jumping around on probably 4 or 5 different topics. Never know how the conversation is going to go. A lot. These are unscripted. I rarely write notes to do live sessions. All right, so this post says, I've been dating my girlfriend for a little over 2 years. About 5 months ago, she cut off the sex, and she wasn't having sex again until she got married. I'm getting to the point that I don't know if I can deal with it. What do you think? Now, it's so interesting how every time we put up a post, women will come and try to add something to it, rearrange something, add some type of assumption to go with it, to verify their perspective, find some way to counteract whatever is presented. Okay, yes, there are always other possibilities, right? But let's just say, for the sake of argument, if this woman had become extremely religious and cut off sex for a religious reason, do y'all think that he would have mentioned that in his conversation? What do y'all think that he would have brought up something that was extremely relevant to the conversation when he wrote me? Does that make more sense? Do y'all think that women don't put the most relevant information in the questions they send me? That's just common sense, right? It's common sense for somebody that's writing somebody for advice on a relationship to include pertinent information and facts about the situation, right? If they want an honest opinion. So if it was some other reason, if it was religion, if it was some spiritualities, any of these valid reasons to cut off sex, it would have been mentioned. But we also know that women use sex to manipulate men and have been using sex to manipulate men for centuries. So why can't we act like that's not the most likely scenario? Why we gotta act like a woman cutting off sex to get a ring is such a far-fetched concept? Right? Why we gotta pretend that the shit that men deal with on a day-to-day basis, the shit that I get questions about every single day, is not likely the motivation for this woman's behavior? Right? So now, obviously she's manipulating the situation to try to get a ring. Very flawed strategy, very flawed dating strategy, very, very silly behavior, but women do it every day. So let's not act like women don't do it every day, right? So she cuts off sex, something that she knows he wants, still expects him to live up to the expectation that I'm your only source of romance or sex or affection, right? She can just make a drastic change to the relationship without your approval, without your agreement. You got to take it or leave it. Imagine how that would play out if a man did that. If he just said, you know what? Before y'all started fucking, you know what? We ain't fucking yet. So I'm not going to give you no face-to-face time with me until you start sucking my dick. I'm not going to give you what you enjoy out of our situation, our relationship, until you start giving me something I want. I'm not going to spend no more quality time with you until you start giving me half of your paycheck. Anything that you just want, any stipulation you just want to put, and remove something that's significant to the person you're dating out the relationship, y'all would have a serious problem with that. That would be very fucked up. He would instantly get dragged for that. But a woman doing it to get marriage, something that can cost him half of his assets, something that can cost him thousands of dollars if the relationship goes south, something that can cost him his home, something that can completely decimate his entire life. A woman can use that to manipulate a man to get that. That's not just one thing. That's not just saying give me a fixed amount. That's not just saying give me one behavior. A fucking divorce can ruin a man's entire life. But women can see women manipulating a man to get a man to marry them, and it's all good. It's not a problem. Putting a ring on it is the fad. See how crazy this looks from a male perspective? You're like, damn. Okay, so not only is sex a mutual exchange that men and women get to benefit from, that men and women enjoy, women have absolutely no problem using it to get the most advantaged situation in the world for a female is a fucking marriage. Women have absolutely no problem. Well, no, I ain't gonna say women. There are other women that point out how it's fucked up and other women acknowledge it. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to the women that actually call the shit out for what it is. But that's the reality of it from a male perspective. It's like, damn, she's not even going for something small. She's going for a whole system that can set her up for life with the manipulation. That's crazy as hell. That's crazy as hell. And so then when this man goes and gets his sexual needs met elsewhere, he's wrong. When he decides to get out of this relationship, he's the bad guy. He was only there for sex. Right? So he's in a perfectly cool relationship where things are going straight, and he's automatically placed in a lose situation by his girl. It's most likely going to make him cheat or leave. But then there'll be women that say, there's nothing a woman can do that can lead to cheating. It's only his fault. He just cheated because he wanted to cheat. They'll accuse him of he just wanted to cheat. That's why he got some pussy. Not the fact that his woman just cut him off for pussy for months selfishly. See how all these theories and all these perspectives always hold the woman unaccountable for what she did and how she directly contributed to the shit that y'all talk about? See why I'm always calling it bullshit? See why I'm always breaking it down? And if I'm too loud, you can turn down your fucking device. You can hit the volume on your end. Right? Let's use some common sense. If something's too loud, if your TV's too loud, be smart enough to turn the motherfucker down. Nobody should have to tell you that. You should be smart enough to know that you can turn down the volume on your device. All right, so, but when we're talking about the type of things that men encounter with women on a day-to-day basis, this is how outlandish it is. This is how unfair it is. Right? They put themselves in a position to have the thing that they claim is the worst thing ever, claim that they don't want to lose somebody that they love, somebody that's treating them right, and they will try to force an outcome and end up completely ruining their situation. And then when you tell them why the situation fell apart, what happened, why he cheated, it's all his fault. A real man wouldn't have cheated no matter what. He just wanted to cheat. Like, no, motherfucker. If you had been still consistently giving him pussy, he probably would have had a much less desire to cheat, which is I'm going to talk about my post about desire too. So I'll get into that a little bit later. Just basic common sense things that women can do to reduce the chances of them getting the outcome they don't want. This is why men look at women and be like, man, women are crazy as hell. This is why women write me all the time. You make women seem so dumb. You make women seem so stupid. Like, how am I making women seem like anything if I'm talking about what women really do? I didn't just imagine this scenario. I didn't just make this up. This is not something that only I observe. This is shit women do. This is shit millions of women have done. This ain't nothing new. I'm not making y'all seem like nothing. I'm talking about what y'all really do. The shit y'all really think. The way y'all really act. The mentalities y'all really have. The insecurities that y'all so want in denial about. That's all I'm talking about. These are not things that I'm making up. So let's get to another post. All right. This is a post from yesterday. My friend's boyfriend is going to take family Christmas pictures with his kids and his baby mama. My friend isn't having it. I want to know what you think. So whenever we get these situations where it obviously men and women do it. Men and women are insecure. Men and women are jealous. Men and women deal with the possibility of being cheated on. I only talk from a male perspective. So I'm going to talk about women that do it. I'm talking about what men experience and deal with. So when there's a woman that has a problem with her man being around his baby mama, for one, that means she got into the wrong relationship. If you are dating a man that you know has a child, especially a young child, you are dating a man that got a 10-month-old or a 1-year-old child. You should have the common sense to know that he is going to have a regular interaction with the child's mother. It may not be daily, but it is definitely going to be at least a couple of days every week he interacts with her. If he's a good father, if he's the type of man that you should be dating, he's going to have a regular relationship with his child. That means he's going to see her consistently. He's going to see the baby mother consistently. That means he's going to spend money on her, sometimes unexpectedly. That means he's going to have to do things that he didn't plan on doing. That means that his time is going to get consumed with things that he did not know in advance. If you are not mature enough to handle those things, do not date a man that has children. That's fair enough. Just like a man, if you're not capable of dating a woman that has a child, you should be smart enough to figure this out during the dating process. You should be able to observe what their day is like. When they come to you complain like, damn, man, I have to go pay for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, she just outgrew her car seat. I just had to go spend $130 I didn't expect to spend. If you can't observe from the conversations and the interactions you have with a parent, what type of shit parents have to deal with, don't date them. Don't get in a relationship with them. Don't fucking marry them. Don't marry them. Right? So if you cannot handle your man going to be around his kid and taking some fucking pictures, that means standing around, letting somebody else point a camera at them and push a button a couple of times. Pulling out your debit card, swiping and paying for the pictures. If you cannot handle that, you are not secure enough to be in a relationship. I don't care what your rationale is. If you think that they still fucking, if you think that they might get back together, if you think it means he still love her, it doesn't matter what else you believe. If you cannot handle someone going to a public location to take some photographs, you are not secure enough to be married or in a committed relationship. I don't give a fuck what excuse you give for it, what situation you use as your judgment, because all you're doing is making an assumption off the past, off of a past painful situation, off of past hurt, to project it onto a future situation. The word that describes that, if you Google it, is bitter. That's the definition of bitter. When someone is angry or hurt based off a past situation or a past person, that is called bitter. Google it yourself. That means you are not comfortable with it because you are bitter about a past situation. You are insecure about your partner or your relationship. You do not trust them to respect your relationship and only go take pictures. Your friend is not having it because she thinks he's going to get his dick